Hi guys, first of all I want to apologise for inflicting Boris Johnson on you. Now this video is important for a number of reasons. First of all, it's causing a massive meltdown on the right wing of politics for two reasons. First of all, Boris Johnson is defending immigration, not something we expected to hear anytime soon. And second, this is scaring the hell out of Reform UK. Because there's a real risk that if Boris Johnson becomes leader of the Conservative Party again, he could win support back that has gone to Reform. Have a listen.
But you know what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the graph. Here it is. The Boriswave, as they're calling it. What do you say to the Boriswave?
I say look at the fall in legal migration caused by that took place in my first year of government, and it went to the lowest level for 40 years, and that was because of COVID. And we then had, and those figures are wrong, by the way. Your graph is rubbish.
They're not. This is non-EU. This is non-EU migration.
We then had, and so who are you going to kick out? The Ukrainians? You want to kick out the Ukrainians?
No.
You want to kick out the Hong Kong Chinese?
Well, look, the blue line is.
You want to kick out the nurses?
Boris,
who do you want to kick out?
Boris, the blue line is all. The blue line is all the non. The blue line is
entirely a function of COVID, and what we did was take back legal control.
You take back legal control, and as Reform said, turn the taps on.
So the problems we face now are illegal migration, people coming across the channel illegally, and you need the Rwanda solution.
We've covered that.
That's the single biggest problem. And the other problem we have on the legal, actually we have a problem of emigration.
We've tried telling that to people who can't get their kids into a school, who can't get a doctor's appointment, whose children can't get jobs. They're being undercut. We've got people fleeing this country at the moment. Very rich people, but also a lot of unemployed people.
Because of the taxes that Starmer is putting in, because of the mess that these guys are making of the UK economy.
Let's just talk about this.
I haven't seen anything like it. I haven't seen anything like it since the 1970s.
This is your legacy on the line, though, because they are trying to Reform are trying to scapegoat you. They are trying to blame you entirely for legal matters. But your old colleagues, your old Tory colleagues, they aren't defending you.
I'm very, very proud of what we did, because we took back. We can have, if we want zero nurses, if we want nobody to come in for social care, if you want, we can have zero, right? That's our ability now. We have full legal control. What I'm saying, and also thanks to Brexit, we are able to.
Do you think that's what people voted for? That graph, when people voted for Brexit, that's the numbers they wanted coming into this country.
What they voted for was full legal control, and that's what they got. And by the way, after COVID, we had, and this graph is wrong, but we had huge numbers of, it is. We had huge numbers of EU students who are coming back in. We had the Ukrainians, and I think people.
The yellow line is without the Ukrainians and the Hong Kongs. It's still pretty high.
People who make this point have got to say, who would you kick out?
Who would you kick out? Okay, so once again, apologies for inflicting Boris Johnson on you, but I'm not going to get into the details of what he said here, because there's a lot of things that are correct, but also a lot of lies as well. And also on the other side, Harry Cole is talking a lot of tripe as well. Some things true, a lot of it is tripe though. Now, the concern here for Reform UK is if Big Dog comes back, if Boris Johnson leads the Conservative Party, he could win back support. There are people who left because Boris Johnson is no longer leader of the Tories. So those people would likely come back, and this is scaring the hell out of Reform. This is why Reform are pushing this narrative of the Boris wave. Now, as I mentioned before, it's a Brexit wave. It's a result of Brexit. And Boris Johnson sort of hinted that here. Well, the numbers are up because we have control now. We could reduce it to zero, but if we do that, then where are we going to get our nurses from? Where are we going to get our care workers from? Who's going to pick fruit and vegetables in the fields? These are the realities of the situation. Boris Johnson, I don't think, was ever fully on board with the idea of Brexit. He saw it as a political tool he can use. I don't think he's actually anti-European. I think if it had gone the other way, he could have eventually became, imagine this, a president of the European Commission at some stage in the future. Maybe that was his goal all along. I don't know. But then something else came along. But he is undermining, he's standing his ground. when it comes to immigration. He could easily have said, look, yeah, the numbers are too high, we need to bring them down, we need to do something about it. Now, he mentioned Rwanda here, and he mentioned other tools the Tories can use, but he's always talking about so-called illegal migration. And we know that asylum seekers crossing the channel represent about 5% of all immigration. So while Reform are just using the blanket of all immigration is bad, Boris Johnson is doing something different. He's saying, look, we need to reduce the so-called illegal migration, but we have to rely on workers from abroad. We need to bring in doctors, nurses, carers, people to pick fruit and vegetables, people to work in hotels and restaurants. We need people in manufacturing, workers to build houses. We need all of these. And Brexit allowed us to turn on or turn off the tap. Now, I don't know if this is going to come back to bite him on the backside. It's possible, but it could also have the opposite effect. Boris Johnson could present himself as a moderate Tory. Imagine that for a moment. And this could strengthen the Conservative Party. Now, this is all speculation because, once again, as I said in another video, Boris Johnson is no longer an MP. He needs to, if he wants to lead the Conservatives, he needs to win a seat. It's not looking very good for the Conservatives at the moment. So he'd need to kick somebody out who's in a safe seat. The party would have to be behind that. And then I think he would be a shoo-in to be leader. Kemi Badenoch's not doing very well. And I think a lot of people would like to see her go. But if Boris Johnson does take over, he would create a massive problem for Reform. And Reform know this, and this is why they're throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at him. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Also, don't forget to check out the merch store, link in the description, where we're uploading new stuff all the time. Hope you enjoy it.